My name is Danny Wallace and I am the Queen Bee. I grew up on the council estates of Preston and I was furious when I found out that the Queen was born the Queen. So I set about creating the I am the Queen Bee movement to help more people show up at Wise Up Horizon and reclaim their birthright to success. There's this quote that goes, aerodynamically bees should not be able to fly, their little wings shouldn't get their fat little bodies off the ground, and bees don't care what humans think is impossible, bees fly anyway. And so I wanted to create a space and community where we could do what bees do when they're building something new and festoon and link arms and help each other.
I need to get to know this woman. I need it in my life.
Who is this woman? I need a piece of that.
As a survivor of domestic abuse and homelessness and clawing my way back up from rock bottom, I wanted to be able to put my hand behind me and say, come with me. You don't have to struggle.
I had a dream of something that I wanted to do, and Danny, she got me there.
Georgia Smith!
How the bloody hell did I get here?
Often as business owners, we hide behind our businesses. But as the saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed. If you're not speaking about your business, who's going to know about it? If you're not speaking about your mission and how you can help people, how are you going to help the people you want to help?
I just made a wish come true.
A speaking coach is somebody who's going to be the hands at your back.
Wow, Danny made a wish come true. She helped me get there.
I'm buzzing.
It's life-changing.
What an amazing journey.
Oh my goodness me, I loved it. Oh, I loved it.
We actively encourage people to be themselves because that's the most magnetic thing about you. What people gain when they participate and be inspired is that spark of belief in themselves that creates a furnace, that creates a bonfire, that creates an inferno.
Wow.
It has been nothing short of life-changing.
It doesn't stop there. Community creates bonds and friendships that are absolutely forged for life. It really does become so much more than speaking.
How you feeling?
It felt like I picked up to this really enormous thing.
That was awesome.
Epic, phenomenal. It was a bit more intense than I thought it was going to be. Exhilarating. Went fast. It felt amazing. Exhausted.
Thinking at all about wanting to stand on a stage yourself or running a workshop to get in touch with Danny, you're not regret it.
You want somebody like that in your corner.
It was brilliant. The atmosphere was set, the stage was set, and it was smashing.
So the Be Inspired Mastermind is for anybody who is ready to take the leap to the next step in their business. You can get in touch with me by following me across the socials at the Queen Bee Danny, or you can head on to my website where you can learn more about the incredible things that you do as part of IATQB. It's www.iamthequeenbee.co.uk. That's peace. Good morning, everybody. Why is my light weird? That's a bit better, isn't it? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday. I hope you are well. I can't remember if I told you this last week or not, but the gorgeous Nikki Kinsella shared a meme last Monday, I think it was, that went something along the lines of Monday, right? If you take the first bit of Monday, M-O-N, mon is French for mine. And that is what we are going to do with this week, bitches. We're going to make this week mine, not just mine, yours as well. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Wise Up Rise Up Show with me, your host, I'm Danny Wallace, and I am the Queen Bee. And for all of the people on the Bee of Destiny behind me, it's the beginning of Be Heard this week. So we're going to be kicking off the program. Everybody that jumped in, we close the doors at midnight on Friday. And the people that are on here are all a part of Be Heard. We start this Wednesday at 8 p.m. I cannot wait to get started. So that's really, really exciting. It is, oh look, Nina is the start of Be Inspired. Yeah, it is. It's Be Heard for the next 8 weeks. And then we stretch out into Be Inspired and start getting ready for that incredible event on the 30th of September and the 1st of October. So really, really, really exciting times right now. But also, this week. In January, I don't know if you guys remember or not. I mean, the people that are involved will. Or when was it? It was just before, in fact, it was sort of December time. And I was like, oh, we've never done a retreat before. We've never done like a bee treat. And the guest that I've got on this morning, actually, we've been on our own private bee treat. She's one of my incredible VIP bees. And we went to Italy last year. So we've done like a one-to-one retreat. And that was honestly out of this world amazing. We had the best time together. And I can't wait to bring Claire Sweet to come in and talk to us this morning. We're going to talk about money, money, money this morning. I'm very excited. But I was like, we've not done a like group retreat before. And it was something that I'd really wanted to do. Having been on retreats myself, I've forged some of the most sort of, I guess, sort of sisterhoods off the back of being at retreats. And I was like, yes, we're going to do a bee treat. And then, then we got struck by lockdown version 3.0, which meant the January bee treat could not take place. So we moved it to this week. So this week, because it was safe to do so, this week is going to see the very, very first, the inaugural bee treat take place. So we're going to take to Manchester, as is my home. Well, it's not my home, but it's my spiritual home of the worker bees. The one-to-one you had with Claire is on my vision board, especially somewhere delicious. Bardolino, Italy. I think me and Claire both fell in love with Bardolino when we went there. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was just beautiful. But yes, it was an incredible time together. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit this morning, but we're here to talk about monies this morning. But yeah, this week is going to see us from Thursday all the way through till Sunday. We are going to be strategy planning. We're going to be working through the Show Up, Rise Up process, which is something that I work with my business clients on to help strategize the rest of the year. Now we're peeping out of lockdown. What does that bit look like? So ordinarily, I want to run these in January to kick off the year. So just FYI, that's going to come your way. January is going to be a bee treat. There'll be never any more than 15 people on there. Because I want to really sort of forge those relationships. One of the great skills that that's turned out that I didn't realize that I had, that I'm able to create really great communities where people have each other's back. If I look at, the Be Inspired cohorts, if I look at the Power 6, if I look at Move B, if I look at all of the little sort of micro communities I create as a part of my programs, being a part of these is just really phenomenal. So there's 12 of us. We're going to Manchester. All safe and socially distanced, you'll be pleased to know. But I've got some exciting things planned. We're going to be doing some strategy, and we're also going to do some really nice things as well. Strategy is nice, though. I like it. It's stuff to get excited about, especially when you're in a group of people. You can start to see the potential, even if you can't see it in yourself when you first start the piece of work. Actually, when you're surrounded by people that are really in that forward motion mindset, that's surrounding yourself with people you aspire to be like. If you're surrounding yourself with 5 positive people, you become the 6. Actually, you start to see things in yourself that you might not have seen before, or start to believe in yourself. If I think about the trajectory of IATQB, started with drinks around the table when I said I want to do these things, but I don't know how. And I remember Kerry Leather, who is just the most phenomenal human, said, you're going to need to borrow our belief here for a minute, Danny, because you're going to do incredible things. And I was like, okay. Turns out we did. We've done incredible things. It's been absolute insanity. So, and these are the types of events where those conversations take place. So yeah, that's this week. There are no more spaces left. I'm not selling you anything there, but that we will do that again in January. We will open the spots probably November time for you to come and jump onto a bee treat if you want to come along. So yeah, most probably will be UK based. For the most part, I like to do things in the UK just to help people kind of get there. We may look at an abroad one sometime next year. I don't know. Anything can happen. Sometimes I just sit here and get excited. The next thing coming up for us is the Summer Swarm. Look, we've got 7 destinations there across the UK, and across the course of 2 weeks at the end of June, beginning of July, I am going to be visiting each one of these places to do the Summer Swarm strategy sessions. The alliteration is giving me life. Tickets will be £349 plus VAT. If you want to know more, holler at me and we will get you booked on. Dates are being confirmed this week. And the other thing you guys need to know is Be Inspired tickets for this cohort right here go on sale on Friday. Oh, so you're going to be able to have access to 2 different types of ticket. One is the Zoom. So like we did last time, so we're going to take our incredible team from iStead Studios, take them into the Impossible in Manchester and Zoom live to you, and you'll have forever access to that. And there are also just 70 tickets to the room where it happens. So 70 tickets to be in that room over the course of the 2 days to see these incredible human beings, plus some VIP guests. That is coming up in the not too distant future. So I'm going to make those announcements. Locations, as it stands, showing. We've got Glasgow, Manchester, Newcastle, Norwich, London, Birmingham, and Glastonbury. We're going to go and access some of the spirit of the tour, some of the energy around the Glastonbury area. So they're the locations. All of the dates are coming up within the week. So I've got a fab creative team working on all of that right now. But there you go. That's what's popping. That's what's going on. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to bring an incredible friend of mine. I am so grateful to have this human being in my life. We have laughed together. We have cried together. We've had romantic dinners together. Please welcome to the show, Rise Up Show, the phenomenal Claire Sweet. Good morning.
Hello, Monday, and we're here, and we're up, and we're going, and yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, so pleased. I'm pleased to catch up. This is how busy things get. We're both so busy that the only time we get to catch up now is when we're both working at and with each other. Yeah.
So Claire, you've been on the show before, and we've done lots of work. I was just telling everybody about the fact that we went to Bardolino, Italy last year. Sort of, we was able to snatch really a moment in time in the middle of the whole lockdown situation, didn't we?
It was great, and at that point, it was just, I don't know, it was amazing. I got to sit on an aeroplane where there was like me and one other person in the front 3 rows, and actually spread out and have time and have space at the airport, and all the things that you normally get aggravated by when you were traveling just weren't there. And yeah, we had this little gap in the middle. And then it all locked down again, and then we're back to where we are now.
I know, it's crazy. I was just watching, I always call it GMTV, and I shouldn't call it GMTV. Good Morning Britain this morning. There was like filming somebody they were on a plane, and I think they were going to Portugal or somewhere that they're allowed to go. I cannot wait to do that again. But Claire, before we carry on riffing, because we could talk about all sorts, and we're here to talk about money specifically this morning. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
What do I do? So I make finance fun for normal people. I make money exciting. I am a financial advisor and money coach, but not a bloke in a suit. I live in Kent in the southeast of the UK, out in the countryside with my 7 alpacas, which is why I have appalling internet. Sorry for any sort of lag or delay. I am plugged into my router and sat next to it, and this is the best I can manage. But hey, and I've turned off my OneDrive and my Google Drive and my Zoom and anything on my laptop that could be zinging in it. And we're still a bit clunky, but hey. So yeah, I help women take charge of their money so that the dream that they want, they can build, and the security they want, they can have. Because do you know what? I hate the idea that there are women trapped in jobs and relationships they hate just because they can't afford to leave. Right. To me, financial freedom is that. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about buying the beach house or flying first class. It's about knowing that whatever life throws at you, you've got the money to be safe and to do it your way and to build the dream you want. Let's face it, the knight in shining armor, there's not many of them around. If you want it, you're going to need to get on and do it yourself.
And this is the important thing, and one of the things that I love about your messaging. It's not about negating need for all others, but I think one of the things that I had to learn from when I was a single parent, from when I had, lots of tumultuous relationships where I gave away a lot of my financial power, that being able to be self-sufficient allows me to bring myself to my relationship as a whole instead of a half requiring another half. And I think there's a lot of empowerment to be had in that concept, isn't there?
Well, there is. And to be fair, most of the business owners I work with are women who are successful in their own right, and they are good at what they do. And the freedom that gives them of knowing that actually they can do the things in life they want, and the relationship that they have with their partner. It doesn't mean that their partner isn't necessarily working or got their own income. It doesn't even necessarily mean that they have to be the one in charge of their finances, but they understand their money well enough to make sure that no one's going to take advantage of them. And I think, it was only last year that they brought in, financial abuse as a type of domestic abuse, where people effectively are held hostage by a partner because they've got no access to their own money to do anything. And that's only been recognised really quite recently. And I think that, having a control of your money, or at least even if you haven't got money of your own, having the capacity to make your own money and understand what you need to do actually allows you to relax and get on with life, because you haven't got to be sitting there worrying that, if you upset your other half and your relationship falls apart, you'll lose your lifestyle or you'll lose your home or any of that. Who wants to worry about that?
Exactly. And the thing is, when there is that degree of worry there, whether we like it or not, sometimes that can be a niggle that turns into a resentment. And actually, in not having that information and that empowerment around your money can actually cause problems where there doesn't need to be problems there, if it's just access to information or access to, understanding that money better. So how do you help people do this, Claire Sweet?
A range of stuff. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, the bulk of the work that I do is one-to-one, albeit I have got a group program coming out in the summer. We're saying the summer, it's not actually in the summer, it's in July, which actually isn't very long away at all.
It's around the corner.
Exactly. I suppose what I do is I help you get your foundations in place, get them rock solid, so that you know exactly what's going on with your money, how much you've got coming in and going out, and you can put that sort of safety net in place to know that you feel safe and secure. And then you can get on with growing your business or running your life or playing with your kids or whatever else you want to do without worrying that the money's going to run out. And for some people, that's a one-to-one thing. And like you, we sit down and we do stuff one-to-one. And for some people, that's exactly what they need. Right. For other people, they need stuff that they can go off and do themselves and start to get things moving. So for that, I've got a range of sort of self-study type options that people can do. But I'll be really honest with you, the most impact comes from sitting down and just doing it. And I know that is really intimidating for some people, but it's the reason that I tend to work in a VIP day type format, because I find that if I can go and sit down with somebody over lunch or whatever, we can talk about what they really want to achieve and then end up with a plan that does it. I mean, if you think back to you and I in Bardolino, I was there as your client. We have an amazing time, but I would say we got just as much done sat in a restaurant over a bottle of wine as we did sat around a table with a flip chart. And I find the same with my VIP clients. It's those conversations that you have at the bottom of the stairs or, at a conference in between sessions. That's where the magic happens. It's being with people. So that's sort of where I focus, but I try to make it accessible to more people by having other options.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting. We were just saying about the whole retreat situation. We actually met being part of a mastermind. We forged our friendship in Lisa Johnson and Jay Gemma's Wave Mastermind, which is almost 2 years ago now, by the way.
I know.
Is that gone? But what was beautiful, and I think that when we are looking at these things for ourselves, and it's something that I've had to look at, it's quite a relevant conversation right now for me, Claire. As well, I've just done the launch of my life. It was almost like all of the things that have gone on for the past couple of years, they'd come to this beautiful fruition, and we've moved house, we've moved mountains to move house, and now we're in a position where we can really start to build wealth within the business and wealth within the family. Stability and security, I think, for me, is more important. It's not even a probable. Stability and security, for me, is more important than wealth in the biblical sense. So when people start to talk, she's a 7-figure earner, or she's got multiple 6-figure business, or whatever it is, for me, it's not even about that. It's about understanding how stable and secure my finances are, so that I have the bandwidth to expand all the time. Because if I'm worrying about being on the breadline, if I'm worried about the rug being pulled out from underneath my feet, I'm not concentrating my whole self on growing this incredible movement, on doing the incredible things that I do. I'm too busy worrying. That's creating anxiety in my life. So by building trusting relationships with people like you who know, I don't know that bit. I've never had to deal with money before. The money that I've had to deal with, I've had to be frightened of money. I've been having to be frightened of earning too much money because they would take away my tax credits or my housing benefit, or I was just so petrified. And I remember A, having conversations with you in the first instance, and B, also Natasha Bray. I remember having a conversation with Natasha Bray. And this week, by the way, you guys watching, we've got loads of, you are on Natasha Bray's Story Mind, aren't you?
Yeah. That's why I'm here.
So, and as part of those conversations that I had with you and I had with Tash, it started to sort of have things click into place around the fact that we have exponential growth at our fingertips if we allow ourselves to stop being fearful. But we can only stop ourselves from being fearful if we have information. And it's with that we are armed with power. And it wasn't a sit-down meeting in the first instance. That was a walk to a boat for a dinner. That was a sitting over a glass of wine. That was a me having a little cry with you. And then like all these sorts of things are where these beautiful conversations take place. So when we allow ourselves to build relationships, when we see finance experts, I think, Claire, we have to go, oh, they're going to try and sell me something, or I'm not going to be able to afford them anyway, or I don't have enough wealth to even begin with. Why should I look at wealth planning if I've not got any wealth to kick off with? Like, what's all that about? So tell us about how you came to doing the work that you do.
So the work that I'm doing now ended up being a spin-off from my day job, effectively. So I am a financial advisor. I'm fully FCA regulated, and that effectively is the day job. I help people with things like buying their home and sorting their mortgage out, and protection for their families and their business, sorting out pension plans, retirement planning, all of that type of stuff. But I realized quite a long while ago that there were people who weren't necessarily ready to do anything because they were a few steps behind. They needed to get their foundation sorted first. Yeah. And, I remember sending some clients off where I'd been out and done a meeting, done all the research, and come back and said, right, you can't do this now. You can do it in about 18 months' time. And in the meantime, these are the things that you need to do. And I used to go away and go home. At that point, I was still visiting clients in person, back before we were all confined to Zoom. And I always was there hoping that by treating the client nicely, the business would follow. And at some point in the future, they would be ready and they would come back to me. And I will be there to help and support people all the way through. But ultimately, you're a grown up. You don't get a hard pressure sale from me about anything. I'll keep gently nudging you to the point of chasing you with a big stick. But actually, at some point, you have to decide that you're going to do this. So I suppose what I realised was that there was a gap for financial education, but from somebody who is qualified to actually give that advice, because there is so much information online. We all know that. And it can be really, really overwhelming. But on top of that, a lot of it can be incorrect, to the point of being actually factually dangerous, because people go off on a tangent thinking they know what they're doing and they muck it up. And in all aspects of life, that can be important. But with your finances, that can be devastating. I have seen people who have sunk their life savings into something that seemed like it was amazing because they saw it advertised on Facebook and lost all of it, and the good old adage, if it seems too be good to be true, it is. I think rings true on that. But people get caught up with it. And I thought, well, actually, there's a place to start educating women. And I suppose from various points in my past, I found that, I've been through relationship breakdowns and being a single parent. And at that point, and there were things I was able to do at that point that a lot of others weren't. I was able to keep my family home. I was able to buy out my ex. I was able to still carry on going to work and have childcare, because I put things in place. And I suddenly realised actually lots of women haven't done this. They don't know that they need to. No. And I thought, actually, how can I help and how can I have an impact? And that's, I suppose, is where this came from, because I thought, actually, it's time to fill that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, I remember you saying something, it was quite controversial. I love it when we get a bit controversial. But there are lots of people out there, and do not get me wrong, like this way of doing things, I need to put a caveat on this. This way of doing things has helped lots of people do lots of different things. But I remember me and you having a conversation around it. kind of grinds your gears. It grinds your gears when you talk about people setting up GoFundMes when things have gone awry in their lives, and it's been because of poor planning on the previous side, or it's been. So what they're doing is they're kind of shouting out and saying, "Oh, we need money," but actually, if you'd have set some things up that are relatively simple to set up on the other side of that, you wouldn't be in this position where you're asking of the people around you to help. So whilst I get that this is a way that lots of people out there who are struggling do access funds, and people can choose to decide where they put their money, it's entirely up to them. It isn't always wholly necessary, would you say?
Completely. And, this is the thing that we often find this, don't we? With social media, you see all this stuff popping up and down, and sometimes you have this instinct to react, and then actually you get halfway through typing your comment and you think, actually, I won't. I'm just not going to say that thing that I want to say. But yeah, in all honesty, I've seen things pop up on Facebook or wherever where people are crowdfunding. For example, they've had a house fire, they've lost their house contents, and they're now either crowdfunding money, or they're saying, we need new furniture, we need this, we need that, we need the other. And yes, I'm sympathetic, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That these things happen and we need to do it. But there's that little voice in the back of my head that says that for most people, home insurance is less than £15 a month. Mm-hmm. I've got mine. You've got yours. It's just part of what we do when we buy a house or we rent a house or whatever. You pay that £15 a month so that your contents are insured. And now, because person A has chosen to not do that, we as a community have to pick up the mess they've left behind. And I realise that can sound a bit harsh, but ultimately, as a grown-up, you have to sometimes just pull up your big girl pants and get on with it. You can't just be sitting there waiting for someone else to pull you out. You just can't. And I know some people will flash against that, and they'll be like, oh no, my goodness me, and whatever. And the same with, things like funeral plans and whatever. I would hate for my family to be fundraising to pay for my funeral if something happened to me. So I make sure that there is things in place so that if I die, they can pay for a funeral. Because not if I die, when I die, we're all going to die one day.
Yeah.
But it is that thing. And I realise that things happen out of left field and can be really unexpected and bits and pieces. But there are things you can do to limit the damage yourself. And they don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be complicated. And I suppose what I'm trying to show people is that there are little tiny steps you can take every day so that you make yourself financially stronger. Right. And it might be that this year, the only thing you do is you set up a bank account to put an emergency fund in. And every month when you get paid, you put £10 in it. And if that's all you can afford to do to get started, then do that. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to do something expensive or complicated. Right. But take some steps towards where you want to be.
I think this is the important thing, and I think this is what really resonates. You actually put a reel out the other day on Instagram that made me laugh, and it really resonated. It really struck home that there was, here are the things that you need when it comes to creating financial stability for yourself, and there was like some complicated things, and then you just held up a big pair of Bridgets and you were like, your big girl pants. We've got to be able to say to ourselves, I'm going to take responsibility here. This works right the way up the spectrum. I've been on my knees with nothing and not taking any responsibility. Things started to really improve financially for me when I allowed myself to put my big girl pants on and start to take responsibility. Another huge awakening for me was when my dad had his accident, and he just fell off a step, and everything changed that day. Everything. Our lives, his life, certainly. Our lives, his lives changed completely, and there weren't the proper things in place to be able to look after him at that time, so we were left scrabbling around, and it was hard. So actually protecting or allowing myself now, and we've just gone through this process, allowing myself now to protect my kids from having to pick up the pieces for me, or Wallace from having to pick up the pieces for me, or likewise me having to pick up the pieces if anything happens to him, or the house or any of those things. It feels like a non-bit of money at the time, but actually when the shit hits the fan, to be protected in such a way it provides for that bandwidth. And putting on your big girl nicks and going, I'm going to take responsibility, we just need to be doing it if we're able. We just need to be bloody well doing it. And I think that tough love is okay.
I mean, the thing is, it's never about how much money you've got or not got. It's about what you do with that money. And
Right.
I say some of those things, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you take out insurance. It doesn't have to mean that you have a whole load of savings, but you need to know what you've got and you need to know what you're doing with it. But the thing is, people often assume that the answer to dealing with this is earning more money. And I can tell you from the clients that I've worked with, it's just not. You know, I've worked with clients who are multi-six-figure business owners who are having to borrow money out of their kids' savings to pay their staff bill because their cash flow is all over the place. And they know the money's coming, but it's not coming in time to run the payroll. I've seen people where they've got no idea whether they're coming or going, and their paperwork is so chaotic. One lady, simply because she'd lost the PIN, the number for her debit card for her personal account, and rather than speaking to the bank to get it resent, she'd started paying for her personal shopping out of her business account and then just moving the money about from different accounts, and her accountant was going nuts. It was like, this is just so complicated. And sometimes, you know, the solution can be really straightforward. And I suppose as somebody who's outside of the situation, I'm happy to have the conversations in a kind and supportive way, but just say, actually, why is it you do it this way? Tell me what is going on here. And then actually just get them to think about whether that's the right option. I'm not ever there to tell people off or lecture them about what they have done, they haven't done, or whatever. But equally, I do want you to see what the consequences of your action or inaction could be. And if you're happy with that, that's absolutely fine. But, you know, I often say to people, the worst thing is not actually necessarily not having any money. It's not knowing how much money you got or haven't got.
Yeah.
If you haven't got any and you know you haven't got any, you can make plans accordingly. You can spend accordingly. You can prepare for things. If you think you have, but you're not really sure and you don't really know, odds are you're going to overspend. You're going to spend more than you have. Things are all going to end up all chaotic. And at some point, it's all going to hit the fan.
Hang on a second. Good morning, goddesses. I've cancelled my TV license in March. Great, saving £13.43 per month. TV still works, and donated that money to Street Angels. What a joy! I can't advocate not having a TV license if you're using the TV. I don't know what the caveats are around that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can tell you a quick one on that one. So in terms of the TV license, there we are. One of the things that I do know, I'm a mine of useful and useless information. Very good in a pub quiz though, so hang on to that. Is that if you have got a TV if you haven't got a TV license, it's not a problem, but you cannot watch any BBC content, including anything on HD or catch up. So you can't go onto your laptop and watch something on BBC iPlayer if you don't have a TV license, because if they find out, they can actually prosecute and fine you, which will be a lot more than the £13 a month. If all you're watching is Netflix and you make sure that the on-demand TV you use is ITV or Channel 4 or Box Clever or someone else, no, you can save you £13 a month.
That's a shocker. Oh my God. Pixie, I just learned something. Legitimately don't have a TV license, so I could save that. We don't really watch the BBC for anything, but mind you, BBC News ends up popping up. Oh God, it's my field.
For the sake of £13, don't end up with a fine. But but this is the thing, isn't it? You know, in life, you make your choices. I mean, at the school where my little one Andrew is, there's a car park, and all the mums park in the car park. In the morning, you can park for free until 9:30 or whatever it is. In the afternoon, you're meant to put your 20p in. Some mums put their 20p in the machine, some don't. Some think I'd rather pay 20p a day and not risk it. Other people say if I get caught once every so often and have to pay a £30 fine, I don't care. Ultimately, it's your choice. You know, you do it your way. I'm not going to judge you for it, but just go into it with your eyes open and know what could happen.
Right. Okay. I'm learning things. I'm like taking little notes from you, like you sneaky peas. I love it. So Claire, tell us about StoryMind. Tell us about the process that you've been through with Tash, because we've actually got a number of people coming up. We've got a StoryMind takeover happening on the show for the next couple of weeks in the run up to a book launch that you're all participating in. So tell me a little bit more about that and that experience.
It's been really, really good. I mean, I decided last year that I was going to write a book, and I was all set up to get on and do that. And then this thing popped into our shared Wave WhatsApp group, because I know Natasha for that, saying, I'm looking to fill the last few places on this. Anyone knows somebody who might be involved or want to be involved? So I had a read through and I thought, well, actually, this is something that will give me the opportunity to be part of a book. And it's a team of 16 of us, amazing different business women all over the world. We've got people from the States out to Australia and everywhere in between. And as well as being able to write the book, there's the opportunity to get some of the mindset and the inner work done to actually deal with the stuff that we've all got in our pasts that we need to deal with that holds us back. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I had a good childhood. My parents split up when I was 11, but, you know, that sometimes happens. But we weren't on the breadline. We didn't have poverty. We didn't have domestic violence. All of the things that could potentially happen, we didn't. But actually, I still ended up with baggage, which affected how I lived my life. And actually, even up until recently now, some of the choices that I made, which I didn't realize I was doing. And having this opportunity to actually get what's in your head out onto paper, it's really, really healing. It's a really good way of being able to process what's happened. And with the thought of then sharing that with the world, again, that brings up a whole load of other things, because it's one thing to deal with this stuff on your own, but then to actually admit to the world, especially in a lot of cases, and I know this isn't the same for a lot of the other girls as well, some of the things that will come out in this book are things that people haven't shared outside of their friend group before, or haven't shared with people outside the family. And even in some cases, there are people within the family that won't know that these things ever happened. And even if they're little things or majorly traumatic things, that in itself causes, you know, issues with confidence and visibility. And am I brave enough to put this out into the world? So it's been an incredible experience. And yeah, we've got the book is launching on the 3rd of June. It's a Thursday in about 2.5 weeks time. And obviously you get the opportunity for us to come on and do this. So I thought, right, here we go. Let's jump in. So here I am. I think I'm the first one.
You're the first one. Of course you are. Because I know you're
Action
like shit off a shovel when it comes to taking action. And I love it.
It just is action. I've got a hashtag that I use quite a lot on Instagram, which is action takers are money makers.
Yeah, they are.
I just think, but again, you know, if you don't get up off your backside and do it, nothing happens. You know, I always say to people in terms of this whole law of attraction thing and putting it out into the universe, if all you had to do was imagine a picture of it, I'd be sat here now with George Clooney and a jar of chocolate spread. So actually,
just, you know, those two things.
Exactly. You've got to get on and take action if you want these things. But no, the book project has been absolutely incredible. Really, really enjoyed it. And I've met some other amazing people, which, going back to what you said at the beginning, is one of the reasons that I did it. Because when you're in the online world, you see people and you see people connected to people. And if you're not careful, you end up moving in the same circle. It might be quite a big circle, a couple of hundred people. But it's always the same faces. And of the ladies that are in this group, I think I only actually knew Natasha and one other who's in it before I started. So I've met 14 new people who I've got the opportunity to connect with, and to see how they impact the world and have them, you know, part of my circle. And it's just been brilliant. It really has.
I think there's a lot of power in that. And again, kind of going back to an unintentional theme, I guess, from the beginning of the show with the Bee Treat happening this week and, you know, Be Inspired having just happened. This community, your network is your net worth. And I think one of the things that you do beautifully, Claire, is you don't just stay in one network. And I think a lot of us do this. It's quite easy for us to stay in one network because it feels safe and it feels like home. But it almost becomes an echo chamber after a while, and allowing yourself to go into new communities and be the incredible person that you are. And the nice thing is that as we grow, we enter these new communities, an even stronger version of ourselves each time. Actually grows your impact, allows you to have even more impact every time. So I always see, I was trying to explain it to someone the other day. You know, when you've got milkshake, like a really good milkshake, and you blow in the straw of the milkshake, and then all the bubbles like bubble up. Like, that's how I envisage all my networks. So like bubbling up and bubbling in, and then if I can connect it to each other, it just becomes magical. How have you found working with the rest of the girls? Has it been like an insular process, just working on your bit, or has it been a collaborative process? Like, what's that look like?
It's been a really good balance, because we've had sort of group trainings and group coaching calls throughout the process. at various times of the day, because we have to allow for the fact that we've got an international audience.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, I mean, some of the girls, they've ended up doing calls at like 10, 11 o'clock at night because of where they are in the world. And it's like, you're so lucky. I feel so lucky that I'm here in the UK, because I would never be able to be awake at that time of night for anything. It just doesn't happen in my life anymore. I think it's just, how did we ever do that as youngsters? How did we do it? But yeah, so it's been really, really good. And there's been a lot of guest experts come in that have come in and talked to us about stuff, and some real light bulb moments of things that I'd never even considered. I mean, to the point that by the time I was halfway through the process, I actually reached out and made contact with Abby to sign up to do my own book, which was what I was going to do at the beginning of the year. And I was like, actually, I'm ready to do this. I know what I'm doing. I'm good to go. Yeah. Which is really great, because I've got the meeting with the editor with that tomorrow, and it's just going to be really exciting. But I suppose the thing I learned about it was that you can interact with different people online in different ways. We've had some messenger groups, we've done Zoom calls, we've done space where we've just held the space to work. So almost like co-working, which I think for business owners at our level, I think actually is a really, really valuable thing, because often you know what you need to do, but you just need the space carved out in the diary to do it. And we had a few sessions where literally everybody logged on and they just worked on their book on their own in a room where you could pop up and have a question, or have a bit of a laugh, or just be there if you needed to. And then we've had other things where we can do Q&As and things. And I think that co-working space, I think in the sort of aftermath of what's happened in the last 15 months, I think will happen even more. It's certainly something that I'm bringing in as a key part of my higher level program for later in the summer, because business owners know that they need to track their figures, they know they need to look at their net worth, but actually it ends up on that list of things that they're going to do at some point, and actually I need to do something else, and then they get caught up looking at reels of cats dancing and other random stuff, and suddenly realize they didn't quite get to it. And that's okay, because I can do it next week. And I think as a business owner, there are lots of things to do with your finances that end up like that, because until you start doing them, you don't realize how exciting they can be. When you do start doing them, you will actually realize, if you can go into your computer, into a spreadsheet today, and realize that since you've moved into your house, your assets have grown by 15 grand for doing nothing, you'll get quite excited by that. Next month, you'll want to log in and see what's happened next. And that will happen, and that will go on. But it's having the time to do that. And one of the great things about doing this was, I say, the writing sessions where we just had the diary time carved out. I mean, the great thing was that by the time we got to that stage, certainly one of the sessions, I was in and I was done. I didn't need to do any writing. So I didn't need to go to the session, but it was there in my diary, and I'd planned it out, and my family knew that I was likely to be at work that day. So actually I had the gap and the space to do it. And I think we need that. The things that are important in life, you've got to make space to do them.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just getting there now. I think that certainly the last 12 months has really been nose to the floor, like getting the house, and now getting that balance right where I've got the bandwidth. But you're right about that co-working, Claire. My goodness me, because sometimes I have to ring Danielle, my ops manager, say, please will you just be on a Zoom with me while I write this email, because I almost need somebody to hold my hand and see that I've done it, and I'm quite capable of doing it, but actually assigning that time to get the job done helps me get the job done. And it's so interesting. It's absolutely fascinating. So what's coming up next for you, Claire Sweet? Tell us.
What's coming up next? Loads of exciting things. So one thing that is coming up is starting on the 1st of July is going to be my new program. It's called Rock Solid, and it's designed to get your foundations rock solid. We're going to sort out creating a regular income so that you get paid the same amount each month. We're going to organize all your bank accounts, money pots, whatever you want to call it, talk about profit first and how you can always have money for shoes and holidays, get all of that set up and automated. We're going to deal with your security blanket, your comfort blanket, whatever that looks like for you, so that it leaves you free to get on with living your life and not having to worry that you're going to run out of money. Okay, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. I've resisted doing any sort of group work before. The main reason being is I don't have a massive audience and social media following. Whereas, you know, one of the benefits of this as a collaborative book and project is that we can each support each other's audiences, and we can each provide help and products and things that they need. And potentially, you know, this means that now I get to see and meet a whole load of new people that I never would have met before. And yeah, it's going to be a really, really great project. I've got other things, fun things going on. So Wednesday this week, in literally 2 days' time, I have a VIP day at my home. It's called
nice.
Buy Your Dream Home. I have got 2 slots left, but they have to go today because I've got to give final numbers for catering and everything. And we've got a catered lunch, and we're going to do all of the stuff, the training in the morning and the afternoon, a VIP individual session with me, because let's face it, with money, you don't want to sit in a group and talk about what you have or haven't got. No. So you get a one-to-one session with me, so you don't have to share any of your info. But so if anybody does want those remaining 2 slots, they need to be jumping in today to let me know. And you get to feed the alpacas. So
this is for anybody that's wanting to be buying their dream home. For anybody that's like in a position, say that I was last year, where I think it was actually like this time last year where I made the decision, like, that's it. I went, whatever's going to happen now, I am moving. If anyone is in that position right now and wants to have
or in the next 2 to 3 years. So, I mean, the thing about moving home, sometimes for business owners, especially if your business has grown rapidly in the last 2 or 3 years, is that we need your paperwork to stack up to get the mortgage, because otherwise it's not going to happen. So by doing it now means that by the time you find your dream home, you will be ready and you'll be good to go, because the property market goes stupidly quickly. And if you see a house that you like and somebody else is ready and you're not, they will get it, even if probably they offer less money than you do. Because if they are ready to go, the agent will go with them every time, because they want to get property sold and people moved in. So it's worth getting on and getting sorted. So yeah, we've got some workshop type stuff in the morning, cake, nice catered lunch.
Cake.
Well, the thing is, you've got to have food, haven't you? Otherwise it just doesn't work.
You've got to be sustained.
And then say in the afternoon, everybody gets a one-to-one session with me and a one-to-one session with my client manager to do their will writing. Because will writing is something that so many families put off doing, but it's really, really important. So we've pulled it all together into an epic bundle. And if you want to know more about that, check out my Facebook page or my personal profile, friend request me, have a look on there. It's all details are there, or send me a message. But yeah, loads of exciting stuff. VIP days start again. My 6-month program, now lockdown is sort of easing, I'll be able to get back out round the world and round the country like you are with your little thing.
Summer swarm.
Exactly. I think that's just such a brilliant idea. And it's so nice going and be able to meet people where they are. It's one of the things that I love about, you know, the way that I work with my VIPs is that typically I come to you, because you don't want to take a day out and travel to London or to Kent or to wherever. So I come to you, get to stay in a hotel. We have an amazing day, eat, drink and be merry and get work done. And I get a weekend away, which works quite nicely for me. So
love it. Yeah, I mean, I did this whole connection thing, and we keep coming back to this whole connection thing is huge, and now more so than ever. You know, today is like, in my mind, it's National Hug Day. It isn't really National Hug Day, but it is the 17th of May when we're you know, the restrictions are eased a little further again, with some trepidation certainly around the northwest, especially with what's happening in Bolton and Burnley. But this whole connection thing is really, really important. And we don't know what's going to happen, you know, October, November, December time. Is there going to be another wave? What is that going to look like? So I feel like capitalizing on the time that we've got and doing a bit of a brew and a hug tour is definitely what it is that I need to do right now for me before anything else happens. I want to see everyone real quick before anything happens. So Claire, how do we contact you? How do we get in touch?
Okay, so easiest place to find me is on Facebook. I spend my whole life on Facebook. Ask my husband, he'll tell you that. So yeah, friend request me if you want to. Send me a private message. That way it doesn't get hidden in that folder that we've all got that we never find, and then messages disappear. I've also got Piece Together Money Coaching, which is my page. You'll find me on YouTube. Every Friday, I have got an amazing short video that comes out that just gives you like 5-6 minutes worth of content on a particular topic that you can take away and action now. And I'm over on Instagram as well, and you'll find over there the reel with the big pants and various other. There are actually some educational ones as well as the odd one of my cat, which, you know, we all do these things, really, don't we?
I was going to say, we do. We turn up for the car and stay for the money talk. Claire, sweet, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for everything that it is that you do, particularly in this space. It's such an empowering piece of work that you do. And I know you help, including myself, so many people. You're an absolute angel. And thank you for bringing the normal around the conversation around money. Because as part of the whole ethos of IATQB, your birthright to success, health, and all of those good stuff is your birthright. We've just got to be tenacious, and we've got to have experts in our corner to help us get it sorted. Claire, sweet, I love you. I'll see you later.
See you later. Bye.
So make sure you go and join Claire either on Piece Together on Facebook over here. I'm sure Claire will pop the links in the comments as well. If anyone wants to know anything about her VIP days for the Buying Your Own Dream Home, or indeed for a program coming up in the summer, do get in touch with her. She is a phenomenal person to have in your corner. All right, so that's it. Monday, boshed. I am so excited. This week sees the beginning of Be Heard. We kicked that off on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday sees the Be Treat, the inaugural Be Treat, happening in real life. So if you're not following me already on Instagram at the Queen Bee Danny, do go and follow over there, and we will update you via stories what is going to be going on during the Be Treat, so you can follow along with us. The Summit Strategy Swarms will be going on sale in the next couple of days. We're just getting final word on venues. If you do want to know more, or you do want to jump in, please do. The venues will be in Glasgow, Manchester, Newcastle, Norwich, Birmingham, Glastonbury, and London. I will see you bright and breezy tomorrow for more Showing Up, Wising Up, and Rising Up. If you do want to be on the show, please do drop me a DM, and we will get you hooked up. All right, my lovelies. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I will see you bright and breezy tomorrow. Showing up, wising up, and rising up as ever. I love you. Ta-ra.